Good morning, Emerson. Today is Thursday, March 24th. On today's show, Take Back the Night is in studio to give us a sneak peek performance of a scene from the Vagina Monologues.
And our very own Alyssa Altman will show us a place close by where you can go rock climbing.
Hey everyone, I am Terry Stackhouse.
And I'm Anna Rodriguez. Good morning,
Good
Terry.
morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. The snow is really bothering me.
Oh gosh, I can't wait for the weekend.
Bring on the spring.
I know, yes.
But the weekend, we're young, we love getting out.
Yes, I do.
Some people, though, don't think that our generation, Generation Y, so it is called, is doing quite so well. About 6 months ago, New York Times Magazine published an analysis piece talking about the under 30 age bracket, also known as Generation Y, saying that we are slower to reach adulthood milestones, that we're not as competent in the workplace, we're too addicted to social media. What do you think about all this?
Well, we all know that there are baby boomers, there are millennials, and then Generation Y. Those who were born in Generation Y were born between the years of 1982 and 1991. And if you do the math, we graduated from college or high school either after the recession or before the recession hit. So I don't think we're lazy or trying not to grow up. I really think that is indicative of our time. We can't find a job. That's why we need to live at our parents' houses, not because we don't want to have a house of our own.
Well, I mean, maybe if you want to go through life a little bit slower, though, there's nothing wrong with
We're
that.
optimistic.
Take your time getting married. There's no reason to go out and get pregnant.
Yes.
Unless, of course, you're pregnant with the next Messiah, or if you just struck a deal with MTV and you're going to be on 16 and Pregnant. But somebody who is not going to be on 16 and Pregnant is Stephen Selnick, our well-informed newsman, with all of the day's headlines. Steve, take it away.
When I turned 20, I celebrated surviving teen pregnancy. Good morning, Emerson. I'm Steve Selnick, and here's the news that you need to hear. Well, we've all heard of pets wearing clothes, but here's a new one for you. A family in the Rochester, New York area adopted a goose and named it Spruce, but that's not the strange part. Here it is. The goose refused to go outside, so the family had to start putting diapers on him. The family even made a video to show exactly how to put a diaper on a goose if, you were ever to attempt to do so. Apparently, Spruce put up a fight the first couple of times they tried to diaper him up, but now the 6-week-old does just fine with it. His owner claims that Spruce doesn't like other geese and truly identifies himself as a human. I personally identify all of them as absolutely crazy. Usually when you hear someone saying it's a great day to go surfing, you're not in Chicago. But this is just the case these past couple of days in the Windy City. Surfers could be found all around the shores of Lake Michigan catching some waves despite the 33-degree water and the -7-degree wind chill. Nothing like coming back to land after a few good rides covered in ice. The only way to thaw out, jump in the car, crank the heat, and wait to thaw. But hey, if you love it, you love it, and these people definitely love the surf. And Junior Day is here at Emerson, and it's approaching fast. What exactly is Junior Day? Well, it's a special day that Emerson puts on for high school juniors that are beginning their college search. On April 16th, prospective students will have the opportunity to come to the Boston campus and check out just what we have to offer. There will be an information session, a campus tour, and a student panel sharing their Emerson experiences. If you're a junior and this might just be something you want to do, log on to emerson.edu and sign up for the day because space is limited. Now back to one person who still needs a diaper and the person who helps him change it. Anna and Terry.
Oh,
Change me.
Sorry, just caught us mid-changing diapers. Thanks, Steve. Now it's time to throw it out to your favorite weather girl, and that's Lyndsay Cannon. Lyndsay, the million-dollar question today, is it snowing yet?
Good morning, Emerson. Tonight I'm going to be sporting a Snoopy because later on is the season finale of the Jersey Shore. Now I know I'm going to tune in because I don't want to miss out on a bunch of Oompa Loompa-esque drunks stumbling around desperately in seek of a last-minute hookup. And while many of us love to watch the bunch, most of them hate it because, well, their poofs are worth more than any of our incomes will ever be. And even though their tans are about 30 shades too dark, we can't even get an eighth of the color because we live in the tundra that is Boston, Massachusetts. And on that note, let's take a look at today's forecast. Today is going to be rainy with a bit of snow with a high 41 and a low of 28. And now for the 5-day forecast. Friday is going to be mostly sunny with a high of 40 and a low of 25. Saturday, partly cloudy with a high of 39 and a low of 24. Sunday, partly cloudy with a high of 41 and a low of 27. Monday, mostly sunny with a high of 42 and a low of 30. And Tuesday, mostly sunny with a high of 45 and a low of 32. Now back to two people who have had a spray tan or two gone wrong, and I have the pictures to prove it. Terry and Anna.
Not me.
That's
Not
right.
me.
I actually spray tan
This is
myself
natural, baby.
paler. So, I pop out on the screen. Thank you, Lyndsay. Now it's time to check in with Ross Lipman for your daily Sports Flash. Celtics, a rough game last night, and they now trail the Chicago Bulls by 1 game in the East. Ross, what can you tell us about it?
That's right, things not going so well for the Celtics. Nonetheless, good morning, campers. Ross Lipman here once again with your GME Sports for this Thursday morning. Just a man and his love for sports. I hear Lifetime's making a movie based around it. So the Celtics have 13 games left in the season, and the battle for the top spot in the Eastern Conference looks like it will come down to the Celtics and the Chicago Bulls. Boston played the Memphis Grizzlies last night, which does not seem all too challenging, but Memphis may now play a bigger part in the Eastern Conference standings than you would normally think. After playing the Celtics last night, Memphis now goes on to play who else but the Chicago Bulls Friday night. Let's see if the Celtics could ensure that Chicago would not get one up on the Celtics in the standings. Go to the third quarter, it's Rajon Rondo. We call him Rajon Rondo into Paul Pierce. Pierce gets the basket. He had 22 points on the night. Rondo had 11 dimes. Memphis up by 1 fourth quarter, and it's the former Celtic Leon Powe with the circus layup. He gets fouled and would go to the line. He ended up making his free throws. He had 13 points off the bench. Big game for Leon Powe. The dish is over to Glenn Davis with less than a minute left. He makes the 17-foot jumper, brings this game to 1. Memphis would get fouled. They'd go to the line and make both their free throws. So it comes down to Paul Pierce. The truth. He gets the shot, and it's false. Basket doesn't go. Memphis ends up winning the game, and now the Celtics trail the Chicago Bulls. Meanwhile, the NFL is only adding more changes to the league. Now, outside of the fact that there will currently be no football next season, on the off chance that there is, the league will have new rules for all kickoffs. The ball will be moved from the 30-yard line to the 35-yard line, and touchbacks will still be brought to the 20-yard line. Now, many coaches and players, specifically return specialists, are upset over the call, but there's one coach who thinks the new rule is fair. New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick is A-OK with the new rule. When asked about preparing for the new kickoff, he said, "It's fine. We look forward to it." Now, did I mention that there is currently no football next season? I just want to reiterate the fact that the league is changing rules to a league that currently has no players to play the game with these new rules. I just find that a bit interesting. That's all I have for your sports this Thursday morning. I'll see you on Tuesday. And just a friendly reminder, T-minus 7 days until opening day and 8 days from the first game of the season for Red Sox Nation. I can already hear Tessie being played through the streets of Boston. In the meantime, let's go back to one woman who is most certainly the main event and a guy who, well, is stuck doing dark matches, Anna Rittis and Terry.
Oh, I love Ross.
Baseball season, it's kicking off soon. Gotta love that
excited.
dirty water. 1 week away. Thank you, Ross. Now it's time for our first commercial break, but when we come back, Pat Lambert is in studio to tell you how you can help relief efforts in Japan.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson. Now, Terry, we are all wishing that this wintry weather go away. The summer is just around the corner, and that means that people are flocking to the gym to get in shape. Now, I found out that there's this new yo-yo diet that is set to hit the United States within the next month, and it's who I call Dr. Dukan, but
Dukan.
sorry,
Dukan,
it's French. It's
it's
Dukan.
French.
He's created this new diet that resembles Dr. Atkins, which you all know created a diet where you just eat meat and not as many carbohydrates. What do you think? I don't agree. I personally don't like dieting because I think that you should actually carry a healthy lifestyle, try to eat, healthy foods. But now this diet is coming. People are waiting for it, trying to buy his book.
It really sounds particularly unhealthy, and on Good Morning America this week, they were talking about this new diet, and a doctor from Albert Einstein University of Medicine, I've never heard of the school before, he said that it is very dangerous, especially for your kidneys. So I would try and stay away from this diet, but I just think it's very interesting that every few months or so, you've got a celebrity that says, "Hey, I lost 15 pounds in the spaghetti and meatballs diet. All I ate was spaghetti and meatballs." And everybody else rushes out, buys the book.
And this diet is promising no calorie counting. It's promising fast weight loss. I mean, we all know what happened to Dr. Atkins, and I sure don't want to end up dead, so I think I'm going to stay away from this diet.
Somebody, though, who has been on the Atkins diet, I hear, since he was born.
No wonder he looks so good.
he looks phenomenal, doesn't he? Omri Rowland, he is in studio with all of the latest entertainment headlines around the world. Omri, what's up?
Thanks, guys. I didn't think you'd notice. I'm Omri Rowland here with your entertainment update. Today's news, Chris Brown broke a window and Elizabeth Taylor is dead. I'm just kidding, there's more. If you watch Good Morning America on Tuesday, then you're officially a witness in the case of Robin Roberts versus Chris Brown versus a window. Brown was on GMA to promote his new album Fame and took a few moments to sit down with anchor Robin Roberts for an interview that did not go to his liking. Roberts asked Chris a series of questions relating to the notorious incident 2 years ago when he beat up then-girlfriend Rihanna. Chris kept trying to shift the focus of the conversation back to his new album, but Roberts wasn't budging. Audiences assumed that Brown's curt response to the questions was the worst of the situation, but that was only the beginning. When the cameras were off, Brown turned green as he transformed into the Incredible Hulk. He wrecked his dressing room, smashed a window, ripped off his shirt, and stormed off into the streets of New York. Brown later tweeted, "I'm so over people bringing up the past, yet we praise Charlie Sheen and other celebs for their bull." The most interesting part of this whole thing is that according to Roberts, she ran her interview topics past Chris before the show, and he agreed to discuss them. Both Roberts and Chris are receiving backlash for the interview, but in my opinion, Roberts was just doing her job as a journalist asking those questions, and Brown was just doing his job as a rock star by destroying his dressing room. Luckily for Chris, his fans don't seem to be turned off by any of his antics, and his album is slated to sell between 250 to 275,000 copies in its opening week. On a much heavier note, Hollywood icon and screen legend Elizabeth Taylor has passed away early yesterday morning at the age of 79. The actress, who's as famous for her romances as she is for acting, battled congestive heart failure for many years and ultimately lost after being hospitalized for the past 6 weeks. Her publicist released a statement that Miss Taylor passed peacefully at the Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. Congestive heart failure is a serious condition where the heart cannot pump enough blood to the rest of the body, a disease that is unbefitting of a woman who had such a big heart. Taylor was an incredible philanthropist whose charity grossed just as much, if not more, than her films did. A true combatant in the fight against AIDS, she founded the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation in 1991 and has worked for the cause since. Known as the most beautiful and desirable woman of her time, Dame Elizabeth Taylor was much more than just a pretty face, being one of less than a dozen women in the history of the Academy Awards to have won 2 Oscars. Even at her weakest, Taylor was always an optimist, telling Larry King back in 2001 that she hoped to gain a valuable lesson from each illness and setback that she was faced with. In a statement released yesterday, Sir Elton John summed it best. "We have just lost a Hollywood giant, but more importantly, we've lost an incredible human being." Elizabeth Taylor is survived by her 4 grandchildren, 10 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. Back to you, Terry Nanaridis.